This is a video I made a while back about Half-Life. I never finished it. I never really fully finished it, but I spent a lot of time on it, so I thought I might as well just publish it. And yeah, you'll know when the edits end. Enjoy! Half-Life is a really popular shooter series for PC made by Gabe Gaming Newell and his video game company Pipe. Everyone has heard of Half-Life, and everyone with a brain in their head has played Half-Life. But there's a serious problem in this world, and that is just how many mindless apes haven't played Half-Life. Like, seriously, look at all of these people. What is wrong with you guys? It's such a good game! So today, in an attempt to rectify this awful situation my friends are unaware they've put themselves in, I'm making this video. Also, because Griffin told me to, but shush. Half-Life, released in 1998, broke new grounds for the shooter genre by revolutionizing the way story can be shown in a game and many other things. And that's super cool, but we aren't here for a history lesson. There's no point talking about what made the game good then, when I'm trying to tell you to play it now. So what is good about it now? What makes this game still fun even 22 years after its release? Well, a lot, actually. To start off, let's talk about the level design. This game has really cool map design. Gabe Level Maker Newell was really on his A-game making this, and when you play through, it really shows. Each level flows into the next seamlessly, making the whole game feel like a tour through Black Mesa. And what makes the game flow even better is how it's cut up into 11 different chapters, all of which have a distinct feeling to them, and one of which can suck my dick. Another thing in Half-Life that I find really cool is the character design. These designs are super slick, so I'll cover some of the best here. Starting us off, we have Vortigaunt's, a weird one-eyed goblin thing with an arm coming out of its chest. It shoots lightning from its hands and takes 1 or 2 shotgun blasts to dispose of. Bull squids, two-legged beasts that love spitting acid at you from far away, and generally being annoying. If I saw this guy at a local milk bar, I would not hesitate to start a fight. Barnacles. These guys love to trap you and gobble on your skull, not to be confused with ropes. Hound eyes. Little dogs that shoot out sonic waves from the god-awful shriek they make. They're also very timid. And there's a lot more cool NPCs, but let's leave that for another day. On the topic of enemies, let's talk about the shooting or the gunplay, combat, whatever you want to call it. Now I should say I'm no expert in the shooter genre. Other than Half-Life, I've only really dumped any amount of time into TF2 and dabbled with CS and Valorant. But I must say, shooting things in Half-Life is tons of fun. Even if the human enemies are a little too fast to whip out grenades and shove them down your throat, and if some guns do not make sense,
why is it better to use a crossbow than a missile launcher?
The sounds that the guns make and the massive variety of weapons Gordon is given is just amazing. And the different enemy types that you're given to test these weapons on is super slick. Nothing beats the feeling of deeply penetrating these big, strong men with my bullets. But no game is perfect, and everything has its flaws. World of Horror gets stale, Piku Niku is short, and Half-Life, it has on a rail. You may think that I say this as a funny in-joke for all my Half-Life fans, but seriously, I despise this chapter. Now, way back when 8-year-old me was playing through Half-Life, he got up to on a rail and quit forever. If not for this chapter, so many people would have been able to say they've beat Half-Life, and would probably have stopped world hunger or something. So right now, I'm gonna summarize the plot of On a Rail, and I'll link a tutorial to skip the chapters so you don't have to play it at all. However, if you are a purist, skip to this time here if you don't want the spoilers. I mean, it's nothing major, but still. At the beginning of On a Rail, this Barney tells you
you're supposed to take this old rail system up to some kind of satellite delivery rocket. I don't know where it is exactly, and the old guy was so worried about getting out of here alive, he didn't tell me. Main thing is, the military aborted the launch, so when you do find the rocket, you'll have to get up to the control room and launch it yourself. He said something about a Lambda team needing the satellite in orbit if they were ever going to clean up this mess.
So you spent the next 8 to 20 hours navigating this god-awful maze until you finally arrive at your destination, where you send a satellite up into space, which will be used later in the plot. So there you are, now you never have to touch that god-awful chapter. You're welcome. The endgame of Half-Life isn't stellar either, but trust me, just push through it and it'll be worth it. And there's no shame in looking up a walkthrough.
Watch the Big Mac Davis walkthroughs.
So some of this god-awful level design that just plagues the ending of this game. But with all that in mind, Half-Life is still some of the most fun to be had in a single-player shooter campaign. And you will not be disappointed if you buy this game and play it for yourself. Just whatever you do, do not play it in the Source remake. It sucks. Please, just don't touch it. Now let's move on to the influence and impact that Half-Life had on the gaming industry. Half-Life is widely regarded as being the most influential shooter, so it's obvious it'll have impacted the shooter genre long after release. But Half-Life has a lot more than that as well. Let me tell you about 2 of the coolest things to come out of Half-Life. Now, these are 2 very recent examples, and personally, the fact that people are still making Half-Life 1 related content 22 years in the future is slick as hell. First thing I'd like to talk to you about is Black Mesa. Black Mesa is a full remake of the original Half-Life in the Source engine, which took a full 16 years to be completed. I personally haven't gone very far into the campaign, but just looking at screenshots of Zen and hearing what they did with it is so cool, and I can't wait to play more when I get the time. So yeah, that's one cool thing to come out of the community, but another one I'd like to talk about is Half-Life, but the AI is sentient. I absolutely adore this series. It is definitely the greatest thing I've ever watched on YouTube. The way they carry a plot through what is entirely improv is amazing, and the ending is the coolest thing I've ever seen. If you haven't watched it yet, you are really missing out. Do yourself a favor and just binge it all.
Oh, but they will play through the whole game, so like maybe beat the game first to avoid spoilers, yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have to say about Half-Life. Just go play the game already. Also, I'd like to thank these guys for making this video possible. If you guys didn't proofread my script, it would probably still be in shambles right now. And Griffin for giving me this video idea. I owe it to him. Also, all you people who answered my question on Discord, I love you. Oh, and my guy who always hooks me up with cool lo-fi music, I love you so much. But you know what I love even more than free lo-fi hip-hop music? I love people who subscribe to the Lizard Boy YouTube channel. I love you, please subscribe, it's not that hard. Oh, and on the topic of user interaction, do tell me if I should cover Half-Life 2. Or maybe the expansion packs first? I don't know. You tell me. And it's entirely possible that this video won't get any views and I'll never touch the Half-Life series again, so yeah, who knows? Anyway, love you, bye.